Hey guys, it's Chris from Steeda, and today I'm really excited. We're here at Murray Ford of Kingsland down here in Georgia with a 2021 Bronco Sport Badlands. We're gonna do a full driving review, walk around, take it out on the street, take it on some trails, and see what this thing's all about. So let's dive in. Not gonna lie, we're really excited to get our hands on this Bronco Sport. It's the Badlands package, and it's got that beautiful Area 51 color. This complements every single part of this thing, just brings it all together. One of my favorite colors on the Bronco Sport. On top of that, it's got these 17-inch wheels with 235 all-terrain tires. We just got it off-road a little bit getting to this particular location, and that sidewall, everything's just, the suspension, everything's working in unison to make it a really comfortable ride, whether you're on the road or off the road. This is kind of cool. It's got a faux scoop here, definitely a design element more than functional, but looks a lot like the design language from the 2021 F-150. And moving on back to this Yakima tent, gotta point it out, it'll be available through Ford Accessories, meaning you'll be able to get it from us here at Steeda. One of the design elements that set the Bronco Sport apart from the rest is the black roof. Definitely complements the whatever body color you decide to go with. Pretty standard gas cap, just press it to open. You got the easy fuel from Ford, so you just stick the nozzle in and it's super easy. But I love the back end of this thing. The running lights have that signature Bronco look. And on top of that, it's just aggressive. You got the inset area on the rear hatch. It says Bronco Sport, so when you come up behind one of these on the trail, you know exactly what vehicle you're coming up on. It's got LED license plate lights, which is definitely a modern feature. All right, you got your rear view camera in the middle, your glass button on the left. On the right-hand side, you got your door button. Go ahead and open it. Fair amount of cargo space. Obviously, this is based off the 2020 Escape platform, so it's very similar to Escape, but lots of really cool features to make this Bronco Sport great on the road and off-road. You can tell the Ford designers and the engineers really thought about the utilitarian aspect of this vehicle. You're gonna be bringing it off-road, you're gonna be camping, you're gonna be setting up that Yakima tent on top, really doing all these things off-road. You need to basically live out of this vehicle. Meaning, you know, you could hit this button on the left-hand side and it actually turns on little LED spotlights that are adjustable either way. So you can basically sit on the back of the tailgate, eat your dinner, you know, cook on the grill over here, you have a fire, whatever you need, you could basically live out of this thing. And it's a Bronco Sport, not even the real Bronco. We're really excited to get our hands on the 2021 Bronco because it's supposed to be an upgrade from the Sport, its bigger brother, meaning there's all kinds of features to make it an all-in-one solution for off-road. Now, like I said, this Bronco Sport has a ton of different Ford accessories, including the rubber mats and things like that. But you also have little Easter eggs here, like the Bronco logo on this LED light in the rear hatch area. You have a regular outlet if you need to plug in, and then your regular car outlet as well. Just a bunch of really cool things to make this Bronco Sport that much more utilitarian when you're camping out on the weekends. The front of the Bronco Sport looks great too. You have the white Bronco lettering just setting itself apart from the grille. You have the headlights that are definitely classic Bronco inspired. You'll see very similar headlights on the Bronco itself, obviously. Little Easter egg on the outside of the headlight, you have the bucking Bronco logo. Again, Ford really just adds those nice little touches in to remind you that this is truly a special vehicle. The hood design has a muscular look. It has those power bulges on either side. Yeah, sure, it's a 2-liter 4-cylinder on this particular Badlands model, 1.5-liter EcoBoost on everything else, but it just looks muscular. Pretty cool. So let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine. So as I mentioned, all the Bronco Sports, with the exception of the Badlands, come with the 1.5-liter EcoBoost engine. Definitely very peppy. Haven't driven it yet, just the 2-liter in this particular vehicle, but all the guys here at Murray Ford in Kingsland, Georgia, said that the 1.5-liter is definitely very peppy and will get the job done. The 1.5-liter EcoBoost comes with 181 horsepower and 190 pound-feet of torque. On the other hand, the 2-liter EcoBoost, which is here on this Badlands, comes with 245 horsepower and 275 pound-feet of torque. Definitely some pep. Outside of this, it's not much of a performance vehicle, obviously. This vehicle's meant to go off-road. Under the hood, it's nothing super special. You have a ram air effect going into the intake, which is pretty cool, from the upper grille. Then your intake system, you got your engine cover. Again, nothing super special, but definitely looks relatively easy to clean, which is nice. So looking at the interior of this thing, it's pretty darn nice. First thing I did when Sam, the salesperson, was showing us around in the Bronco Sport was I started touching things. Touch points are really important when it comes to an interior. Any good automaker knows that, and Ford has it on point. I mean, not everything is hard plastic. Obviously, with something that's off-road oriented that you're gonna be taking camping on the weekends, you want it to be cleanable. That's why these floor mats are important and everything else, but it still doesn't have a cheap plastic feel. You're not sacrificing too much comfort for that utilitarian aspect that you're buying this vehicle for. Outside of that, great looking steering wheel. You got the gauge cluster with the same font that you see in all the other Bronco advertising and stuff like that, just tying everything together. A lot of these buttons are rubberized, and that's something that's important because your hands might be dirty. The things need to be able to be cleaned very easily. So that's something that you could tell the designers definitely kept in mind. You have the gear shifter, again, the signature circular gear shifter that you see in all of Ford's latest models. You got your parking brake, which is electronic. The brake holds, you know, when you're pulling up at stoplights, you take your foot off the brake. You have your trail control. So this is cruise control that you'll actually be able to use on the trail. I was trying it earlier, it's really cool. You have traction control, obviously something you need if you're going off-road. Four-wheel drive, and a locking differential, which again is something you're gonna need if you're rock crawling or doing something a little bit more extreme. The creature comforts of this thing, it's pretty impressive. Right here you have all your HVAC controls, automatic climate control, dual for your passengers. You got heated seats on both sides, you got your heated steering wheel. Again, you're not sacrificing much. If you go out on a snowy adventure in this thing in the middle of winter, you're gonna be nice and toasty in here. You got your wireless phone charger down here, USB port, and this is surprising, I'm seeing a USB-C port as well. Definitely moving in that direction in terms of technology, so it's cool to see Ford is on the cutting edge of that. Got your cup holders, but I do want to point out these seats are beautiful. You have that saddle leather type brown with the black perforated inserts in the middle, and then on top of that you got your Bronco up here and suede up top. Again, just a really nice look and feel. Back seat isn't too bad. All together, again, you get that same beautiful leather. You have a regular plug here if you need to use it. But again, with that utilitarian aspect of this vehicle, you have zipper pockets back here that you can put stuff in. And the MOLLE strap system as well. So you can hook, you know, your gear, your knives, whatever you need. And on top of that, if you need underseat storage, right here as well. Again, Ford definitely thought of nearly everything when it comes to this vehicle. All right, so we'll start this thing up. Push button start. Got some pretty cool graphics going on here. I'll throw my phone on the wireless charger. That's pretty cool. Charges through the case too. All right. Again, a big thanks to Murray Ford here in Kingsland. Really awesome to be able to take this thing for a spin before most people get to. See what she feels like on the street. Should mention it does have the auto start stop. The engine did turn off when I came to a stop here. Helps a bit with gas mileage. Two-liter EcoBoost, this thing does have some pep. The creature comforts are nice in this thing. Big, tall sidewalls. Obviously, you're able to cruise here without any road noise or any uncomfortable feelings, noise, vibration, harshness, none of that. A little bit of wind noise. You do have a tent literally above you on this particular vehicle, so you're going to hear some wind noise, but not too shabby. But if you close this, oh, it's, okay. So you should be able to close this here and maybe that'll help a bit. Yeah, it did. Has the same sink that the rest of the Ford vehicles have, right on the center stack. I believe looks like an 8-inch screen. Loved how this felt in the Explorer, if you watched our past videos. It really just is a responsive setup that looks and feels great. Seat warmer is actually getting a little too hot. And again, some decent pickup. You change the driving modes, I should say the GOAT modes. The go over any terrain is pretty cool. Patented term that Ford has. We won't play with them too much here outside of the, you have the eco mode where again it puts that pillow in between you and the gas pedal, making you really want to accelerate if you have to, but trying to aim for that gas mileage. And after that you have Sport. Which holds the gears a little bit longer, has a little bit of throttle response. Yeah, less likely to upshift when you're letting off the gas. What else? Slippery. Okay, yeah, that's what you'll, use if you have snow, ice, rain, that sort of thing. There's a ton of off-road, terrain modes as well. We'll go over those in the off-road portion of the video, so stay tuned. And back to normal. It's a really comfortable riding vehicle. Got all your regular, power mirrors on either side. Which are nice. It looks like you got turn dials here to help you direct your air conditioning or heat at you or your passengers. All your automatic climate controls down here. We just, turn, changes both sides. You have the option for dual as well. All your steering wheel controls. Ooh, paddle shifters. Let's give those a shot. So you put it in manual mode. Your downshift. Not too shabby. I will point out this has the 8-speed automatic transmission. I believe 7th gear, no, I take that back. 6th gear is the 1-to-1 ratio. 7th and 8th gear are the overdrive ratios for the highway, helping you out with gas mileage and that sort of thing. Outside of that, you have the crawl ratio, which obviously this is an off-road vehicle. You have the crawl ratio, which is an 18-to-1 ratio. Just pretty impressive altogether. This particular model has 150 miles in the odometer. It's brand new. Average mileage for 98 miles, past 98 miles. I have no idea if it was sitting idling for a long period of time or anything like that, but 17.2 miles per gallon, which is not too shabby for a vehicle that has a tent on the top of it. Not gonna lie, this is a pretty cool vehicle to have if you're looking for, a daily driver, something you can drive every day, but also have some fun on the weekends. Take it out camping, bring your family with you, bring your spouse with you. The utilitarian aspect, it really is a all-in-one winner. Looks like this particular model does have lane keep assist. I did notice that when I was using the directional here. Again, the subtle reminders that you're in a Bronco. It's pretty cool. I love the coloring. The color of the interior here, the saddle leather seats, just feel really nice and have a luxurious feel, but at the same time, you got the utilitarian aspects of this Bronco Sport that make it pretty darn cool. Brakes have a good feel. I will note that, coming from a performance car background, there is a little bit more brake dive and suspension travel, totally understandable given that this is a, off-road vehicle. But, something to keep in mind for road manners. But again, you're not buying a Bronco Sport to go do autocross or, go tackle the road course in, but, a small thing to keep in mind when you're on the street. It's going to have a little bit more suspension travel, but it really comes in clutch when you're off-road. All right, well, we'll hit the gas pedal here and see what this thing's got a little bit. It gets up there. It's a 2-liter EcoBoost. And I believe it's the same or a similar engine you would get in the Focus ST, and a lot of the Fusions as well. I'm sure it's slightly modified for the Bronco Sport, but it's got some pep. I will note that I'm pretty sure I heard some artificial noise coming through the sound system. Again, that seems to be part of the MO today, in today's car world, but I'm not too upset about it. I mean, it adds to the driving experience. It makes things a little bit more real and feels nicer to the driver. For an off-road vehicle, this really does translate well to the street and the highway. It's nice and smooth. You don't get much road noise, even with these all-terrain tires. But let's be honest, we know what you're here for. We want to see this thing off-road, so let's see what we got. All right, let's take this thing off-road. Put it in drive. I guess I'll leave it in normal mode for now. Nah, who am I kidding? I'm excited. Let's put this baby over into, not eco, no, we don't want that. Mud and ruts, sand, rock crawl. Mud and ruts, let's do that one. So that puts it in 4-wheel drive. Looks like it's got a little lock icon. So I'm thinking it locks it in 4-wheel drive. You have another button here to push it and lock the differential. We don't necessarily need that right now. So let's give it a shot here. Still telling me my speed limit's 45. I don't think so. This is pretty cool though. You have a front camera on the front grille, and whenever you're in this mode, it's actually showing you on the front camera here, right on the screen, what's going on in front of you. Obviously, past the hood, you really can't see directly below you, but when you're like going deep into ruts and, as it said, mud and ruts, you want to be able to see what's directly in front of you so you can position your wheels and tires correctly as you're, maneuvering different obstacles. Coolest thing about this, it's just so smooth. Let's see what's over here. Now, a friendly reminder, we are in South Georgia, so we're not in like any super crazy mountainous, rocky terrain, but do have some mud, some sand. So this is pretty cool. You do have the option for trail control, which is like cruise control for the trail. So you push the button down here on the dash and set the OK button, and you set the speed. And my foot is off the gas pedal right now. And I got it set at 5 miles an hour. And it's doing its thing. You can bump it up to 6. And it will hold the speed for you. Got a little bit of a rut here, but again, it's great. The ground clearance is very impressive on this vehicle. You're right, yes, it's no Bronco, but being a Bronco Sport, a more affordable version of it, it's pretty cool what you're getting for the money here. Bump up the speed a little bit. Yeah, it's doing it all for you. Pretty cool. And again, you got all the creature comforts in here, and you're going off-road. Hit the brakes, slow down a little bit. When you hit the brakes and trail control, It brings you back down to the speed, whatever you're hitting the brakes to when you let off the brakes, it'll hold you at that speed. So it dropped from 7 or 8 miles an hour, and I'm down to 4. So it looks like we'll go ahead and turn around, turn that trail control off. Ooh, let's keep going. Let's change the mode to, not sand, rock crawl. Not many rocks, but we're crawling. There's a pretty area back here too. And it looks like this particular mode does have the differential locked, which makes sense. If you're crawling rocks and you're really getting that suspension to flex, you want to make sure that your differential's locked. Otherwise, you're gonna spin the outside wheel. Very manageable, very easy to control. You're not gonna tap the gas and go off a cliff. So if you have it in the right mode, it's very easy to modulate the throttle and brakes and basically every touch point you have. Let's say we have a little bit of a rut coming up here, so I'm gonna put it in mud and ruts mode and see what we got. See what kind of clearance this thing has. Use the camera up front so it can tell me what it's doing. Nice. The turning radius on this thing is insane. So we found a cool little spot where there's some mud and sand, and it was definitely wet here earlier. So I'm excited to try sand mode and just kind of see how things feel. Staying relatively, God, the turning radius is awesome. Just kind of pretty darn cool. That thing hooks and books, and four-wheel drive doing its thing, traction control doing its thing. Like I'm trying to get squirrely here a little bit in sand mode, and it's just not letting me because it's hooking too well. The four-wheel drive is really letting you do what you want to do. This stuff's impressive. So I'm in the deepest part of the sand and mud and wetness here. Just gonna get on the gas really hard and see the traction control try to do its thing. Again, insane turning radius for a four-wheel drive vehicle. It's just impressive. Wow, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really impressed about the Bronco Sport. I came here with some decently high expectations, but in comparison to the actual Ford Bronco that's coming out, all the eyes have been on that. The Bronco Sport's kind of been in the shadows, and it really shouldn't be. It has its own spotlight. There's some really impressive things about this vehicle that both on-road and off-road make it a great vehicle to have, whether you're taking it to the grocery store or you're taking it camping for the weekend. A huge thanks to Sam and the team here at Murray Ford of Kingsland, Georgia. Had a blast taking this Bronco Sport out and putting it through its paces both on and off-road. If you like the content of this video, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Comment below, let us know what you think about the Bronco Sport. And when you do get the Bronco Sport in your driveway, be sure to look to Steeda for all your aftermarket accessories, performance parts, lift kits, you name it, we'll have it here at Steeda. So make sure to hit us up at Steeda.com. And don't forget the most important thing, speed matters.